G'day and welcome to the second part on our little Suzuki. The first one, I suppose theoretically it's the third, because the first one was just when we went to look at the bike. This is just part two of rebuilding it. This rain, I pulled out a few parts for the XC that I need to etch prime and can't. It's just too damp, too humid, too cold, you know, that sort of stuff. So the weather's been really unpredictable, so that's the reason I've been doing this. Now, in this one, we've got all the parts ordered that we need on the way, and the only thing I need to get done is tyres and wheels trued, and then the bike can be reassembled to the point where it can be started. So we can put the engine in, we can put all the wheels on, the suspension, to get back together, everything. Oh, I tell a lie, I've got to get gaiters. I broke the gaiter. But all the bits and everything is coming along really, really well, and it's going to be very, very quick. So this is part two, essentially, aside from the introduction. So we've only got the next one after this. This is more about bits and sussing out how bits go back together and buying a few bearings and stuff like that. After this, we've got the whole bike reassembly, which is a chapter. And then after that, we're starting it up. So we'll have everything to have a complete bike that looks immaculate. The only thing I won't have is instrumentation. And the instrumentation's a mess. And I don't know if I can retrofit Honda ones on. I don't know if the gear reductions are the same. I don't know anything about that stuff. So I need to find out, because at the moment it's looking pretty grim. The bike will look lovely, but the instrumentation is just cactus. So we've got also in the pipeline the Plymouth wheels, nearly finished. I keep going away from that and then coming back to it. I'm being very careful with it because it has to look right for that car. And the XC, I've been amassing a list of bits I need to get all the door trims finished, and also have the door car, the armrests and the kick panels all painted the right colour, power window switches and bezels all in, running. Everything's got to be finished on the XC's interior sooner than later. I can't get to doing the bonnet or the boot, or the trunk lid, because just the weather. You'll have one day where it's fine, you get everything ready, the next day it pours its rain. Yesterday we had just a hailstorm, you know, and it was quite mild the day before that. In fact, we had days in the 30s, which is almost too warm to do stuff like that. But anyway, the weather's sort of all over the place at the moment, but it doesn't matter. We're still busy. I think aside from that, that's pretty much it. So hope you enjoy. Well, we got 7 strings of plating, 7 deadly strings, a bit of a poor joke, and a bucket. So I'll send them off now and see how they come back. Right, well, I've taken all the plating off. They've quoted $60, which is around about what I thought it'd be. Very reasonable. This is a mess. I've welded these bits on. I've done a very, very average job because it just blows out. It's so thin. And that repair down there was a rust sort of all down here. That's really, really average. But what can I do? It'll be alright. We'll powder coat it and hide all the sins. Now this goes up here. I've been having trouble because I can't remember. Or not remember, I never knew how this fitted. There's a couple of just 8 125s that go on top here. And the bit that I was really worried about, or couldn't figure out, was where the airbox sat. Now, CMSL have a website, and I knew about that website, but I thought it was just Honda. And probably never associated it with this brand, Suzuki, but a wonderful fellow. I'll put his name in the bottom here. I can't remember it off the top of my head. He got in contact with me and said, try them. I did, of course. They got the exploded diagrams. This guy goes like that, which I never knew. There's a little bolt there, and there's a thing there. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to mark it. Oh, I've left my bloody Sharpie in my pocket. I'm going to mark it because I'm going to put a hole. That tab was cut off. I welded a new tab on, but I haven't got a hole in it yet. So I could always put a captive nut on there, I suppose, but I put the welder away, so I'll just use a nut and a washer. That goes on that side. But yeah, I never knew that. How about that, hey? I'll mount it further back, and that'll be good. Excellent. So we'll send some powder coating out now. We've got the battery box, we've got the air cleaner. Actually, I've got to separate that. The stand, the kickstand bracket, and these guys here, which I wasn't sure what they were, but these are actually for the foot pegs. I was surprised that holds the brake pedal in, and they're rigid mounted foot pegs, which I didn't know they did that. I thought they had to flick up, but anyway. we'll send those out. I don't think that's going to cost too much, or at least hopefully it doesn't. And once we get that stuff back, we can start putting it together. Well, I've got some plating back. I wrapped it all from the wire, you can see there. The quality of this is alright, but it's a bit dull, to be honest. That looks pretty rubbish. The reason for this is because the material wasn't that good anyway. If you remember, the Sigma came out absolutely beautifully, and the reason for that was because everything was covered in oil and preserved. A lot of this stuff had corrosion and bits and pieces around it. That's alright, I suppose. Brake pedal, there's a bit of snot in there. The sprocket looks good. The axles look alright because they were protected. So there's all these subsystems for things like pillion passenger things. The only reason I did this is because of this area here. So that can all get put together. But look, at the end of the day, I also did this carburetor bit. And you can see one bit turned out really well. There. And the other bit's a bit flat. And again, that was covered in rusty stuff. So yeah, look, it isn't great, but it's certainly not bad. The only thing I don't like about it is a lot of this stuff looks like it's rattle can silver. And that is a look I really, really don't like. So, anyway, look, it was easier and cheaper than cleaning up all this other guff anyway. So, it's not that bad. It's all good. But it's just not quite as bright and shiny as I would have hoped. Still, life's good. Right, Suzuki. Got the steering stock in. The lower triple tree, that moves beautifully with those old bearings. Wiring. Very simple by the look of it. I've wrapped some in fabric tape. I've got to rejoin where somebody's cut the brake line things and clean that plug up a bit, but the rest of it's fairly self-explanatory. Even the fact that the little rectifier thing, there's a hole with a flat side on it, so it can only go in one way. And there's also this little bracket here, which no doubt holds the flusher can. So they've made good use. I mean, Honda have a whole panel full of electrical stuff where they've just got one tab and bits hanging off it. So, I mean, it's not too bad. 3 bolts and everything, that's fairly obvious. I think there's another couple that go into the engine from the side here. Not terribly sure. Pop the front wheel bearings in the hub so it can go up and get trued. The rear one, the bearing slides in. This is a Japanese bearing, much higher quality apparently. The well-known people that distribute bearings for motorcycles use Chinese ones, and the Japanese ones are much better. But it's not fitting quite as I'd like it. So I've got the 2 axles there. There's a 3rd bearing on the back wheel in here, which I haven't got yet. Things like this, pillion passenger pegs, they screw in, and these threads are clean, even though the thing's been powder coated. They're fine. There's a lock nut there and all the rest of it. That's fine. The exhaust is also hung off that same area there. But a couple of sort of odd bits, this Kickstarter and this guy here, and there's 3 balls in a spring and a circlip. So I've got to try and get my head around Suzuki's mindset, because Honda don't use things like that, and that's pretty much all I've got experience with. There's the old back wheel bearing. I might just see if that fits any better. But anyway, I'll put this on a tripod and have a look at this Kickstarter. So it's Melbourne Cup Day tomorrow. You get all the picketers talking about racehorses and all this sort of business, and they shouldn't be raced. Susie's aunt's an ex-racehorse trainer in Wodonga, and she mollycoddled those horses. They were better looked after than people we knew. Anyway, she only had a small stable, so she only had a few in work at the time, but she used to always make sure she knew where they were going. They never went to a knackery or anything like that. Right, this guy goes in here, and there's a big gap there, and this thing keeps rotating. What I didn't consider, or I sort of dawned on me later, is the Kickstarter bolt has an increased shank on it, and as you screw that guy in, that is what stops it rotating 2 phase. So it sits into those pockets there, so I learned something there. But it's just a matter of figuring out how this bloody thing goes together. Oops, I might have to use tweezers or needle nose pliers or something, because this is going to be a horrendous gig. I wonder if we pop this. Oh, hang on, it's just dawned on me. See, this is good. I think. I don't even know how to do this. That was a grease nipple that's been broken off. I can use an easy out there. But I can't see how. I thought I could drop the ball in there, compress it, then rotate it in. I might do that. That might be the way to go. Well, one of the problems is there's already a spring in there. I didn't know it was there. So if I pop a ball in, does that sit beneath the surface? Yes, but there's not much pressure on it. What about if we somehow shoehorn that in? That's it. Look. Comes out, start the bike, put it back. That's all it needed. And put this in. And you know what? If we need to revisit it, we're going to revisit it. But for now, I reckon that'll do fine. So hang on, that's the engine. Oh, this is left-hand Kickstarter. Out, room, like that, and then dunk, and it stays there. So that's cool. That'll do for now. That's all I'm interested in. Right. So, now we've done that, we've got the swing arm to look at, and we've got these pillion mount things to look at. Pegs. And they're not going to be too difficult, I don't think. They're just a matter of putting them back together and Bob's your uncle. Now, I got these done because at the end I wanted it to look good and it didn't. These just have rubber bits that slide over them. The rubber provides some of the spring-loaded tension between that and the mount. So that will sit like that. There's a clevis that goes in here. Jeez, oh, I'm not doing well. You know when you just shouldn't be working on something and you are. But you know what? Sometimes you come out and you're not in the right mood and you just think, you know what, I'm just going to go inside, watch some telly or muck around with something and do this later. So, maybe it's going to be easier if I do it like that, hey? Is that about right? That's down. Oops, yep, that'll do. That's good. So we'll make that the left so the clevis pin goes in that way and the opposite side we'll do the other way. And that way we'll just put a washer on there and a split pin and call it a job. That's alright. I think I'll go this way. It looks a bit tidier. That does look tidier. I feel like a new man. Right. That goes there. This is going to go on the other side, which means the clevis pin's going to go in from the top here. So, bit of grease. And popping on. Not that the grease is going to do an awful lot. But I usually should do. It's disgusting split pin action in this place. Stupid ones. I need to buy some more. But, you know what? This will do for now. Oh, right. Aldi O-ring kit. I'm assuming these are nitrile. They look like it. Doesn't say anywhere that they are. Very clever indeed because they've managed to package every size you don't need. I'm wondering if that's going to suffice. Well, that does sit a little bit proud. These go on the edge of the swing arm like that. But I think they're going to be too broad. May well be the case that I have to stick the old ones back in. I would assume. They're not damaged. And they sit like that. So you've got these cups. Can you see down here? I don't know if you can or not. That's why there's so many of these left. And I use those all the time, but I just don't use those. Swing arm bolt I didn't get plated. That's in pretty good nick. And the end of it looked good. The nut I did have to get plated because it was all rusty and horrible. So that's all lubed up in there. I hate this. I don't like powder coated grease nipples. It's stupid. Although that looks like someone's poked something in there, so it might still be functional. It would look nice with a nice new one in there, but I haven't got one. And if we do go to cut it out, oh, hang on, there's another thing that goes there. Two grease nipples. What the hell? What the heck? Hang on. That just goes nowhere. It just goes into the chamber. I'm going to need to block that. That's for sure. We need to fill the grease gun with molly grease, and we're going to pack this. But for now, we're just going to put the cups on the end. Let's stick them in the bike. The swing arm sitting there with the cups on the end and everything. That little hole there I was worried about before, just a 6mm bolt I think goes in there, according to the manual. So I'm just going to put a bit of slip on here, and Not too much, just around the base of it like that. It'll all ride up as we put the thing in. Where is a rag? There's a rag, that'll do. Let's put this going from this side. Thing about these is dead right. It's actually quite stiff to get in. It doesn't. You don't want it too loose because you don't want the thing moving around. If I can just give him a tap in the area, that'll do it. And we got grease. Right. And this is all pretty temporary, so I'm just going to put this nut on for now, and we're good. And we have a swing arm, and there's a tiny bit of movement maybe, but it all looks pretty darn good. Slowly but surely working some more of this stuff out. We've got just been running a die over the threads here. They've got all powder coating stuff on. I've got to do this one here. Some are alright, some are a bit mucked up. Also got to just working out how everything fits on the axles. That's one of the rear axle. The front's got this space, I think, in a speedo drive as well, which we knew about. I'll figure out what to do with that. That's one of the rear axle spaces, and you can see I didn't send it off for plating. It's chrome plated, and it's all sort of lifted. And of course we've got, that's an engine mount spacer in aluminium. That's easy enough to clean up. And this one, which the seal runs on for the rear axle, it's kind of ganged on the end of this, and there's a seal which I've got to get replaced as well. So I've been doing that. Just working out some of the electricals. As I said before, I don't think that goes there. I've got to figure out where that goes, but I'm just sort of hanging bits here and there. Coils sit above. They kind of sit up in that little area there, and they're bolted on sort of through there. So just plugging away really. Hello, Keith Cup Day. Got some guests coming over. Painted the hall and the doors.
That's my face.
Clean the chandelier. It's out of place there, but what do you do? Oh, look at Susie. Susie's looking rather lovely. You're waiting for your friends, huh? Study's still a pigsty. Right, there's Rosie. And we've got stuff coming. Some people are bringing some food. We've got some food in the oven. There's a horse. And Rosie. And a daughter. And lollies. Yum. Teeth.
You need new ones, Dad.
Yeah, I know. My teeth are crap. I'm not going to clean my teeth now. Just bits and pieces here. I'm just cleaning some threads up. This is for the side cover. Now, what we've got is we've got this side cover. We've got to get a whole lot of bits and pieces hydroblasted. And I'm doing it just because it's easier. The cylinders for the 350, I want to get them done before I hone them. And there's a reason for that, because hydroblasting doesn't take metal off, but it does peen it, so it'll disrupt the hone pattern once it's done or once it's been bored. The oil pump bits and pieces, they probably don't really need it. I'll get these ears done and the brake components, but also this because it's rusty behind there and I can't be bothered cleaning it up. It does look fairly straight, so hopefully I don't have to bodywork it too much. But there's these two ears here. Might take that thread out first, and what it'll tell us is how long this needs to be. Now there's a nut that goes there that secures it. It's sort of a knurled nut. So if I put that on, that sits kind of like that. Then we get this guy. That's just a tap. This will tell us we basically need about that much. In fact, I'd actually make the threaded rod the length of that before it gets to the squared end of the shank, and make a knurled nut for it out of aluminium. A nice metal piece instead of a plastic one, because I'm never going to find a plastic one, I don't think, but I reckon if we make it sort of maybe almost that length actually, run a nut there and lock it against the thing so we can just sort of undo it and do it up when we need to. I think that'll work well. So we're going around cleaning up these threads, 6, 8 and 10, 1 and 125 threads, sort of all around here. sort of up where the seat mounts and all this sort of stuff. These forks, stanchions, don't look very good at all. They're all sort of marked up and pretty crummy. If it's under the triple tree though, which I don't think that is, then I'm not too worried. As long as the sealing area is alright, they're probably still full of oil. I'm just going to try and get them up. And I'm not sure how I'm going to go with this because I don't want to damage the gaiters. Well, the horrible truth is those seals are sweating, so they're going to come out, but I've ruined these, and that's a shame. They're rock hard, absolutely rock hard, and I've split it, and that's a shame. It's a good quality Japanese gaiter, so I'll get more of those. The triple clam's up here somewhere, so that, I think it goes there, I'm not sure. Or maybe there, and yeah, it goes there and up here. And so that looks a bit shifty, but the sealing area where the forks run is in good condition. Now I've loosened this, and that's got a lot of oil in it still, so they've not leaked out, you know, I mean, they're not like that, but I've got to drain these and dig that seal out, and you can see there's a bit of oil just there, so the seals are no good. The oil looks nice and clean. I think it's been replaced at some point not too far into the past. I bought this for the Hondas, for the handlebars and also the forks. I've got bucklies getting this off sort of without holding it still, if you know what I mean, but we're going to give it an earnest go. Whoops, no, we're not going to get that off. So, is there someone can grab with a shifter? Yes, there is. Sidchrome 18-inch shifter, or AFS, which means any something size. The old man bought this when I was 11 years old for my brother's Austin Freeway. So I'm just going to try and unseize the engine. And it eventually got there, I guess. Yeah, if I can hold that, maybe. Oh, whoop, this way that's come out, which it did. Another successful application of the AFS. What this will do is it'll allow the fork leg to come out. So I'm just going to undo this. Having trouble getting this out. We've backed it out a little way, but it's just spinning inside. The spitting's had it off. Put the spring back in. Oh, look at that, we got it. So that helped. It's got lots of sealer and snot around it. Copper washer, which is standard issue. And the spring. We've got that. We got this out. Sweet. Alright. What's inside a Suzuki fork? A piston, a seal. That's the seal we need. That don't look too bad in there. Although, sticking a new seal over that horrible stanchion is going to probably do more damage than good. So, it doesn't matter. What we need to do is we need to find out if we can get one of these from bearing wholesalers. It looks like a specialist thing. I don't know if we're going to have too much success with that, but I'm not happy with that. I certainly wouldn't be putting it back in. But anyway, look, we got the seal out, that's the main thing. I need to also make sure that the fork leg, there's a spring in there. Oh, it's just the same as a Honda. It's identical to a Honda. And that's the guy that was spinning here. So we'll clean all this stuff up properly. And then we sort of know where we're at, if you know what I mean. So that's cool. And that's the whole thing that would have been spinning. So that does some of your damping. We'll get a new copper washer for that. So that's sweet. Spring we know about. And just drain the rest of that out. I might leave this upside down. I need to... Where's my torch? Can we see in here? Just standard, stock standard stuff. You've seen all this before. Looks like it's got some sort of copper thing, or is that rust? That's probably just sealing. Yeah, so I want to clean all this out. New seal, dolly that up a bit, and we're good. So I'm going to put this stuff away until I'm ready to reassemble it. Alright, hydroblasting and powder coating. A couple of items here. Some brake items. It's a casting flush, I suppose. That's for the push drive and the third bearing. On the Honda, on the Suzuki, sorry, there's your 333. I forgot to take those out. I didn't even know they were there actually. This was full of, what do we call it? Fish eyes. I just tried to rattle a can, it looked terrible, so top tree. Here your oil pump housing, aluminium parts. The brake plate. So we can start fitting that out too, and I've ordered the pads or the lining, so that's good. The 350's cylinder barrel. And so that needs to go off and get bored now and honed. But I'll leave this on the engine just for safekeeping. And then of course you've got your handlebar brackets, and they bolt up there like that, and there's through bolts and that sort of stuff for them. I was going to polish those, I'm not sure. Of course also I got lazy, and we shouldn't be handling this stuff. That's the side cover. It's just easier giving it to him to do. I'm going to edge prime that sooner than later and bodywork it a bit. There's a few little bits and pieces in it, little dimple there and everything. So you can bodywork that. And of course the two GT 250 fork or headlight brackets that go over the top of the forks. The others are in much worse condition, the original T250 ones. So they'll be fine. So that little lot was $80. And 30 of that was the cylinders for the 350, so $50 for the Suzuki. Let's see what the powder coat has got. This is from Sam in Tech Code in Bayswater. The centre stand looks absolutely lovely. I've got to make some brass bushes to go in there. I'll make brass ones because they're easy to turn on the lathe. And there's a couple of little bolts go through there to sort of hold it up. So the centre stand's looking great. I've got the plated spring and all that sort of stuff. What's this thing? This is probably the side stand. Side stand, same sort of thing, beautiful. So that can go into the frame. We've got battery box. This is the thing I repaired. I welded that bit on and did some welding somewhere else. Where was that? Oh, up around the top. It's pretty rubbish, but that'll be fine. And that's the tab we put on too for the air cleaner assembly. And the air cleaner assembly is here. And it's just beautiful. In fact, it should have been done in satin. This is gloss, but that's part of the air cleaner, and the second part of it's here. And that the air cleaner element bolts to that, and that sits inside there. Also got the foot pegs done, and I've ordered some new rubbers for those, so that's looking pretty good. The bracket for the instrumentation, which looks lovely, but I just don't know what I'm going to do about the instrumentation yet. A few other bits and pieces. This will be the kickstand bracket, and that can go on. And that, of course, the kickstand bolts to, and that bolts onto the frame, so it looks lovely. And the last bit would be the other foot peg, which again looks absolutely lovely. So very happy with that. So what else is there? Right, old bearing and seal for the that's the third one in the back. We've got a nice new Timken one and a new seal for it. That's for the rear axle, and there's a new space. You can see that one with the seal runs, they're just sitting there. That's all knackered. Well, I've machined up a new one here. That's our nice new Timken bearing. So there's 3 new bearings at the back. And just loads of stuff ready to go on. The front axle and nut. I need to order new gaiters because this one unfortunately got broken. It's just too hard, too brittle. I've taken the fork. That's the spacer that had all the sort of chrome peeling off it, and I haven't done that very well. I've done it in a lathe, just ran it off, but the problem with it was you can see where I've flicked it over. I should have put it in a fitting and just done a sweep off it like that. It looks like 2 separate pieces, but it's not. It's actually one piece, but I've taken that off and just cleared it, which is fine. It'll do fine. I'm not too worried about that. I took a fork leg in and buffed it. Again, not a lot of time was spent on this because I didn't see the point. But you can see there, those fork legs are going to come up beautifully. These were clean anyway, but they'd been sanded. I've hit them with 1200 gone over it with 2000 and just run them on a buff. And those forks will come up wonderfully. Not around here, obviously, because the casting is rougher there where the guard and everything mounts on. But they're going to be fine. And so that's what we're going to use for forks. They look pretty good. I've just got to check the stanchion doesn't look too good here. And it's been sort of buggered up there, but that's not the sealing area. Someone's grabbed it with multi-grips or something like that to twist it out of the top, out of the triple tree. So we'll just monitor that. If I need new stanchions, I need them, but I really don't want to sort of spend money on those if I can avoid it, because they're very expensive and also very expensive to get sent out because they're very heavy. So the next video on this is basically putting things together. Then after that, in the video after that, we put the engine in, try and start it, and the rain's coming. This is the reason I can't get bodywork done on the car, because you'll have a fine day and then all of a sudden you get this. So once that's sort of sorted, we'll have lots of material. Now next week I plan to have the Plymouth steering wheel finished. I've been a bit slack with it, but at the end of the day it's nearly done. It's looking really good. I'm taking my time with it. It's not fussy about it. Bloody hell. Well, they've got hail. You might want to turn your speakers down. There we go. Air filter. Anyway, that's where we're at. Bloody hell. Ooh. This powder coating this looks pretty good. I've cleaned the threads in this battery tray. I'm just going to temporarily fit it because most of this stuff has to come out again. Particularly the air cleaner, because they reckon the engine's easier to fit in with no air cleaner there. But it gives you some sort of idea. And I'll bring the camera off and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. The air cleaner is just beautiful. I mean, why would you want pod filters? They're kind of like sort of sports air cleaners on cars. They don't do anything, they just make noise, unless you change your jetting and all that sort of other stuff. There's no point to them. I don't know why people do it. They look good though, I guess. Anyway, we'll put this little clamp on and put it on and have a look at what it, have a stick at what it looks like. Hang on a sec. So this gives you some idea. That's the air filter housing there. And it kind of goes, hangs off there. Hang on, I'll just move that wiring out of the way so I don't bugger it up. There's a screw that holds it in the front. And you can see why it would get in the way with the engine in place. And then there's one that holds it up at the back. That was the one we had to attach the tab for beforehand. And I didn't put a captive nut there, I didn't weld that in, I was just using a nut. It doesn't matter particularly, it's just, here it goes that way. Alright. So, hopefully you can see this thing starting to take shape. Stick those on and just temporarily does it. And we can tighten all that up later. It's all coming off again. The axles, the rear bit. Let me take a look at that. Work out all that stuff goes. This is quite a confusing thing. This is the cush drive cover, and I've put this new Timken bearing in. The original one that came out wasn't a sort of a seal bearing like that. Now over the top of this is this lovely little seal, which presses in, which we can do that. Now, let's pop that out for a moment. It's got this whole arrangement here. And what this is it's a sort of a sleeve of sorts. The seal runs on this little piece here. Now that one wasn't going to clean up, that looks knackered. So I made another one on a lathe. And I used a boring bar to get this out. This was solid round rod. And so this, if I can just get that back in, it all fits together very It only just fits together, so that will go in there. There's no play there, and that's what the seal runs on. We'll put the sprocket on. Oopsie, that can go over there. And I'll just sort of hold it there with a couple of bolts. They're square section bolts. And just to hold it for now. I don't think we need to really do it up yet. I've ordered a new bunch of nuts for it. The other ones, some of them were a little bit sus, a bit damaged. Oops. These two here are okay. I just ordered 6 of them. They were something like 70 cents each. They weren't much. They were very affordable. And we'll grease that sealer. The old thing, we never put them in dry. And that'll do it. Where's that little ring I made up? There's the ring, and I've chamfered one side of it so that it won't catch, or at least it's not meant to catch. And that will just rotate that in like that. And we need to find something to wipe our fingers, and then we just got to put it in. It's just odd the way it all fits together. There we go. Now it's nice and tight. We've got that the way we need it. It's just really weird. And then we have to rotate this so it fits between those flats, and then we've got this nut. Now I've got to figure out, I might put it this way, it looks nicer. I've got to figure out, we've got to put the tensioner bits in there too. So that all looks alright. Nice new bearing and all that sort of biz, eh? I've got to find the right things for this. But this will help me to try and figure out how it all sits. And of course we've got our nut that goes over the end there, which is a castellated nut, which has a split pin through it. So it's something like that. It's odd. But is that running out? Yeah, that's running out. Oh, that's probably because it's just... That looks like it's running out, doesn't it? So the 350 cylinder barrels are ready to be rebored now. They're all cleaned up, although I can still see a little bit of muck between there. He got rid of the muck, sorry, I think it's paint, either that or it's just scratched aluminium, I'm not sure. But at the end of the day, they're ready to be rebored. I'm not going to do any more with that. Once they're bored, they can go on permanently, and then we'll do the head. Now, as far as this is concerned, just a bit of cleaning up of wiring, and we know basically everything fits. That's got to come out again, as we said before, because it's easy to put the engine in without it there. Just working out bits and pieces on the back, how the axles go, and all this sort of other stuff. And we're now ready. We've got to put the headstock together, and we've got other bits coming for this. Fork seals and all that. They're just a mess. Don't know what we can do with those. Wheel rims have their bearings in. They're ready to be going to go and get trued and this sort of stuff. I've just got to get a seal for that. I haven't got the seal for that yet, but that's a minor detail. The rest of it is such that it's all ready to go, and that work, once that's done, the bike's mobile really, because I mean there's nothing much left to do on it. There's the tank ready to go, the seats ready to go, everything. I've got a pair of handlebars here. Not sure about the bars. I don't like high-rise bars like that, or medium-riser bars like that. More of a fan of this sort of thing. They're nice and low, but they still look stylish on these older bikes. So I'm sort of thinking of that. The instrumentation, I can't restore the instrumentation. It's had it. I'll show you that quickly. Right, there's a couple of parts on this bike which are sort of iconic to it. One's the headlight. The other is the twin leading shoe front drum, which I don't have. But we've got the new disc brake rim and all that sort of stuff. And I've gone with that, which I'd sooner have the original drum brake one. But anyway, look, we've got a lovely headlight bucket here. That's the flat bottom type. And I actually found a second headlight ring, which is in good condition. It says T250. But of course we've got this crack here. Now I think that's worth repairing. Waiting for the right, whoops, goes the other way, waiting for the right replacement to come along and repair that. In the meantime, the bike also came with this knockoff Cafe Racer BS thing with a screen guard on it and all that sort of business. For now, to get the thing through roadworthy, I'm just going to put that on. I hate it, but what do you do? It doesn't matter. Now, so far as roadworthy is concerned, I'm not planning on this bike taking very long at all. I reckon within the next month I'll have the thing finished. The bit that's a bit of a problem though is the instrumentation. And the instrumentation is knackered. You know, we've got this sort of stuff, right? Now, none of these work properly. The original speedo doesn't look too bad, but again, it doesn't work properly. When you spin this, it just jumps all over the place. So it's all got to be pulled apart and reconditioned properly, and we've got no reset there for it either. There's a tack. Again, that tack's there, and it doesn't work properly. And we've got this one, which is absolutely knackered, right? Now, these are not just like the Honda ones where we pulled it apart, cleaned it, lubricated it, stuck a new dial on and a bit of red stuff on the end of the needle. These are a full-blown job to fix, and I don't really know how to do it. At least not, I don't know how to do it properly. That's all got Celastic around the back too, so someone's had it apart before. So the problem with these is you see them on eBay for about 180 American, and you're getting stuff the same as that. So I don't really know what to do. In the meantime, I've got a solution. There's a dirty, cheap set of Repro GN125, brand new ones, which are going to be rubbish, but I reckon they'll get us through roadworthy for now. And here they are here, and don't laugh. This is all I need them for. I just need them to get through roadworthy. You can see the dimensions here as well. They're going to fit all right. They're a little bit bigger, I think, but at the end of the day, I don't mind hacking up that bracket to make it fit. The key doesn't go there, the gear shift, the indicator at the top isn't even relevant. But you know what, they'll do for now. Just for roadworthy. If they move, when the bike moves, that's cool. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed this. Take good care of yourselves, and I'll see you soon.